Welcome back to Vibe Coding University, training humans to train themselves. Today, one of the things we want to talk about is our goal. Now, we're definitely one of the goals is to make it to train you to be able to vibe code, to basically see written material and immediately understand it and understand it at amazing speeds. Now, sort of there's the old saying, it's not what you get, it's who you become is is more important. And one of the things we want you to become is a person who automatically just trains themselves. That they have the skills and it's just what they do. They train themselves. Now, it's sort of like uh, you love your children, you walk a certain way, and you just naturally, one of the things you do is you train yourselves. You grow and develop yourself all the time. And that's the goal. See, most people, are trained by, as we know, by, this conglomerate of, parents, social society, schools, teachers, coaches, friends, experiences, all sorts of different things. And we're sort of a melting pot of all of that training. And we didn't really do much of the training ourselves. So they don't have a direct connection in what our dreams and goals are, so they didn't really train us to get to them. They trained us for what they thought was good for us. Okay, so what we're going to do is start training ourselves. Now, the goal here is to make it just something you automatically do. Now, to make it something automatic that you just automatically do, remember, we got to make the subconscious jealous of it. And most people don't think of training like that. They think, okay, I'm going to train, and we get this result, like vibe coding, and then we stop. It's not something we just naturally train and train and train, grow and develop ourselves, because it isn't something like eating or loving our children we just want it to do and just, can't get enough of, shall we say. Okay. In fact, most of us, the way training happened is through, let's just use school as an example. And there's, a lot of people will tell you, I am never going to read another book in my life. I'm not going to take another class. That stuff is stupid, and I don't like it. Okay, now it isn't something they want to do. They don't want to grow and develop themselves. They found it hard. They found it challenging. They found it embarrassing. Whatever it is, it's not something they want to do. It is not part of their automatic. They avoid it. They stay away from it. And what we want to do is sort of flip that around where you start, just go, wow, there's so many amazing things that I want to develop about myself, so I can do this and this and this and accomplish these great things as well. It's just like it, and it's all possible. Okay, so that's our goal. So we want to. Sure, we want to train you, have you, vibe coding at amazing speeds, but we also want you to. The main thing is to become a person who just trains themselves. Vibe Coding University, training humans to train themselves and want to train themselves. So it's something they just do. It isn't something they can do. It's something they want to do and just do again and again and again and keep developing themselves. It isn't like, when you're thrown out of, high school or college, at whatever age that is, and you're fixed from that point on, and you just drive the fixed machine you have the best you can, forcing it to do things it doesn't want to do, getting real frustrated, going on diets and forcing yourself to lose weight and get in shape, and then taking off the force and gaining it all back. We don't want that. We want, if you want to train yourself to be thin, then you're going to get there and you're going to maintain it because you've trained yourself to become the person who just naturally accomplishes that goal. And that's the process that we're looking for you to go for. So one of the things that we have to remember to do about that is, in our training up to this point, we've been trained things that may not support what we're after. The way that we mainly been trained is by force, and we avoid that. Okay, we also look at play as sort of something you don't do anymore. So that level 2 of going into that next level of playing with it and goofing around with it, that's not looked on as normal adult behavior, something you shouldn't do. Okay, and if you do sort of assume you can do, people see who you are right now, you're fixed, your machine as it is, and they say, and you think you could do that? And they, if you can, they get jealous and they sort of try to convince you that you can't, show you why you can't, try to sell you that you're fixed and who you are is who you should be, and don't try to, it's going to be frustrating or whatever. I mean, moms are great like, oh, don't frustrate yourself, honey, okay. And we don't want you to frustrate yourself either. We want you to train yourself to become the person who just naturally does it. Now, we've already talked about three things that that I want to just repeat here a little bit. Is, first of all, effort is usually thought of as work, okay, and we've thought about as failure as bad, and we haven't talked about it yet, but yet fear is something we avoid. That's the training after our point. So, that effort is work, failure is bad, and fear is to be avoided. And one of the things to train, you sort of have to create some new ways of looking at that. Now, we've already talked about, where the weightlifter's efforts, and actually pushes into lifting weights and goes for the burn. Now, he may be just pushing and not be able to lift the weight, but he can feel the burn. He goes, and he can't do it. He fails, but he feels the burn. And he now knows that effort, he pushed into that effort to the burn, and now he knows that he's heading in the right direction. He felt that burn, and he knows if he keeps doing it and doing it and doing it, that's what he has to do. Failure is you got to keep trying, going for, figuring out, working with it, checking this, getting information. You got to keep working it. So we've already talked a little bit about those two, where we got to start work on some of the things where our normal training to avoid the work and to avoid being hurt, shall we say. There's certain types and certain ways. I mean, a lot of us know that we love challenges, but it's learning to take on that challenge and push into what we might call the burn of, where we feel our brains working and failing, okay, but feel that they're working, and that's that's where you want to go, and you go, yeah. And and remember, it isn't for somebody to come and acknowledge you. Remember we talked about that it's real important. It's what you do when you're alone that counts. If you're doing all this yay when you're it's hurting mentally and no one else is watching, you're still pushing yes, and you get excited. Now we're talking. Now your subconscious is going to get jealous, and it's going to take over, and all of a sudden these things are just going to happen, and you're going to do it. Okay, so and fear again, same thing. Is we want fear. Fear just is a good signal of telling us there's something you need to look at here and check out. Okay, and that's okay. The key is go and check it out. Okay, as opposed to run and hide from it, but find ways to go and check it out, and you'll develop ways for that. So we're going to be talking about, those are all important things to think, but the bottom line is if we're going to create a training program, it can't be something that you just, okay, I'm going to train to do this, and you got to sort of psych yourself up for it to go for it. And it's got to be something you're so rewarded. You've trained yourself to be so rewarding. It's like when mom makes meals for you, she's so excited making the meal. It's like, okay, we got this right. She's excited. I want to make this meal for them over there because it's going to be so great. I love my kids. So, it's like you've got to love your future that you're developing yourself into it, and start just seeing it developing and getting excited about how it is. I mean, somebody else made Disneyland, but you get to make your Disneyland. And that's what you want to start thinking is what is that you want to be able to create for yourself, and get excited about it. And, it's just those amazing things. And now, if you've got that, you've got a training. You've got this. You're ready to grow and develop and grow and develop, because you're just so excited about who you're becoming and what you're accomplishing and how things are going. Okay, and now you're in charge of where you want to go. Okay. Anyway, the goal here is to make sure is that yes, we hope you learn Devicode, but if you want to take on a different thing to train yourself to love training, do that as well, and start developing yourself in other areas. Vicoding is just the one that we chose. But remember, it's not what you get, but who you become. And a person that loves to grow and develop themselves they're gonna do great things. Okay, and have a lot of fun in life. Okay, talk to you later. Vicoding University, training humans to train themselves.